Hi. So this is basically my laptop, right? Okay. So for example, let's say I'm looking for a preference share that I want to invest in. So my rule, or at least my strategy with preference shares, is that they must at least give me a dividend yield of 7% and upwards. And if they're giving me maybe, let's say, a dividend yield of less than 7%, then I want, at least for their liquidity, to justify the lesser returns, in that it should be easy for me to buy and sell them at will, because with preference shares, some of them are semi-liquid, so it can take a while for you to get a sale transaction going through, or a purchase transaction, depending on what's available, who's making offers, and who's making bids, because the bid and offer have to come to consensus in order for that sale to happen. So in any case, this is one of the websites that I use. It's called Share Data. So there it is, www.sharedata. So I go there, and basically this is what I see. And as you can see, it's got quite a lot of information on this side of things. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but on sort of the left pane, you see there's like financial results. So it says latest results, and let's look at like PSG final results, for example, just for you to see what kind of information would be there. So it just gives you basically a summary of the results for the company. PSG is a company that I don't know if you guys are aware, but they do investing, so they've got brokerage services and stuff. In any case, if you want to view a more detailed account of the summary, you would click there where it says view SENS, SENS. Otherwise, what it does is it tells you revenue and gross profit and all of that stuff. So it gives you this information: headline earnings per share, whether they've improved and what they've improved from. So like in the same half year, or in the same final part of the year. So companies declare like results on a biannual basis. So this would be the last half of the year. That's why these are final results. So in the last half of the year of the previous year, being 2018, comparative to the last half of the year of 2017, so means that in 2017 the headline earnings per share were 908 cents, while with this one they are 1011 cents per share. So then they tell you your ordinary dividends. They give you basically what their policy is. Their policy remains to pay up to 100% of available free cash flow as an ordinary dividend, of which approximately 1/3 is payable as an interim, and the balance as a final dividend at year end. So now then they tell you that the directors have declared 3 rand and 4 cents, which is an improvement or an increase from last year, as same results there, where they were giving 277 cents, so meaning 2 rand and 77 cents. And it basically just kind of does a comparison to say, okay, so out of this whole thing, then they will say, well, we have a total gross dividend of that much, which has been declared, as opposed to a total gross that was for 15, in the previous year. So in any case, then they will tell you about their preference shares, if they've got preference shares. And in this case, PSG does. It's got ordinary shares, it's got preference shares. So their preference shares are, if you can look there, it says cumulative, non-redeemable, non-participating preference shares. So that means if they're cumulative, that they will accumulate. So they will accumulate. If they don't get paid, they will just accumulate, and when they do eventually get paid, they'll be paid in arrears up to, they'll be paid up to date. So if they missed, let's say, 2 payments that they were supposed to make, and they make them on the 3rd payment due, then they'll pay the 2 arrear payments plus the one that's due. So that's how preference shares that are cumulative, work. There are other preference shares that are not cumulative, but these ones are. So in any case, they declared a gross dividend of 4.18 Rand. And yeah, so if you were to go and click there where it says view SANS, you'd get more information in this manner, where you'll be able to see there are certain liabilities compared by the periods in the year. So also this at the top here shows you that these amounts are quoted in millions, so they're not going to include the the zeros that represent the million, but you must just know that these amounts are in millions. And then as you can see there's like Capitec remains PSG's largest investment, comprising 66% of its total SOTP. So you get this information, and the more you read, the more you understand. And then with dividends, when they give you information about dividends, they'll say there what the salient dates are. So salient dates are like important dates to know. The last day to trade come dividend means the last day that you can buy the shares in order to be eligible to get that dividend that has been declared. And the record date is the last date that you can hold the shares before you sell them, in order not to lose out on the dividend. So if you buy your shares by, let's say, the 14th of May 2019, but you go and sell them on the 17th of May or on the 16th of May, then you will not get that dividend. But if you buy your shares on the 14th of May and sell them, for example, on the 18th or 19th of May, or even sell them on the 20th of May, you will get your dividend payment. That's basically how it works. So in any case, I digressed a little here because I wanted to show you what kind of information you can get out of a final declaration result. You would in here see like balance sheet, income statement, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flow. You'll see all of that information in here for these current final results. These are also, available at the respective website of the particular company. But in any case, this website is very useful or convenient in that you can go, for example, you can go to shares there, and with shares you'll have basically all the shares are listed. This is the default. The top 40 securities is the default. So all these companies that are listed here are in the top 40. So, and this also tells you what their year-end month is, when their next results are basically due, or estimated to be released, but what basically the month. So the next results are for the month of June, and they're estimated to be released in August for Absa Group, for example. So, and then they'll also tell you what the market capital is. So the Absa in the industry that it operates, it has a market capital of 138 billion. So that's the information you get. It's like a summarized information. Then you have, as you can see there, it defaulted this one, which is top 40. You've got JSE sectors. You've got, these are other stock exchanges. This is also the Namibian Stock Exchange. So if you clicked here, you'd see what's listed on the Namibian Stock Exchange. And if you click there, what the 2X Stock Exchange and so on and so forth. So now, I said I was looking for a preference share. So I'll just go to JSE sectors, right? And in the sectors, I'm going to look for where it says preference shares. So KP is down there bottom. So let's scroll a little bit more. And there, as you can see, it says preference shares. So then I click preference shares and it lists for me all the preference shares that are listed on the JSE. So basically that's all of them. It also gives information about, you know, where the year end is, what the next results are, whether they're interim or final, and the month for them, as well as when they're estimated to be released. Then it will basically give you a market cap. And yeah, so for example, let's look at let me think. Let's look at this one. Let's look at the Nedbank one. So you click on the JSE code and it will open. So it opens to you on the code screen. Now the code screen will show you trades that have happened. So here it shows you the last 20 trades, and it shows you the time that each trade happened, and it shows you the price that each trade happened. And also, you know, this is like the I forget this acronym's a full name anyway, but it's like an average of like, it's like a weighted average of the price. Maybe it's based on the volume because of the V, but in any case, we can explore that later. And then they'll give you the volume. So basically, someone, you know, purchased 2,128 units of this share, and the price was 9.33, and their weighted average price was 9.38. So that means 9 rand 33 cents, 9 rand 38 cents. And basically here you've got a visual like a graph that shows you the movement of the share. For example, from, so this one is a day one. It shows you from 9 o'clock, or from when the market opened up until when the market closed. So as you can see there, that when the market opened, this thing was sitting at 9.40, and as you can see there on the right side of this graph, it says yesterday's close was 9.40. So meaning it basically opened at 9.40. So look down there where it says open, means it opened at 9.40 and it closed below the price that it opened at. So basically it means that, you know, the price lost some value, like it lost 7 cents in value, which is like 0.74% of that whole price amount. So this is the information you get, and a best bid basically tells you that in the market, people who are selling this share are, people who want to buy this share. So the bid is for the person who wants to buy. In the market, people who want to buy this share are willing to offer 9 rand and 33 cents for one share, and they want to buy a volume of 45,521 units. And the best offer, so people who have this share and are willing to sell it, they are willing to sell it for 9 rand and 35 cents, and the volume that they're willing to share is 4,900. Basically, for the day, this share has so far done 15 trades, and the volume traded is that much, 192,000, and the value traded, so this is the money, is 1.8 million, you know. So basically you can see, I mean, looking at the movement of this share, you see how liquid it is, you see how easy it is to buy and sell it. So this is a pretty, you know, liquid preference share. So if we are now looking at the dividend yield and we find that, oh, okay, it's not up to the minimum that we want, we know that, you know, if we wanted to sell this one, we could sell it quickly. And it also means that, you know, when the price appreciates and when the price depreciates, those are the sort of things you can look at. So you can do a combination of growth and speculation on this particular preference share. So in any case, that's what you get to see on the quote. So with this chart here, you can, it defaults to the day. You can look at what happened in 2 days, and then it will, you know, change the graph and show you what happened as you can see there, you know. And you can look at 3 months, and then you'll see the graph, you know, makes a bit more sense when it's spread out like that, to show you how, you know, the price fluctuates, but you know, it's moving upwards. As much as it keeps going up and down, it's, you know, it's on a appreciative trend. And if we look at the year, then we can see, you know, as opposed to 1 year ago, what has happened to this share. So 1 year ago, it was like 8 Rand 45, and compared to what it is today, it's gone up by about 11% from 845 to this 933. But as you can see, you know, it went down. If you manage to enter the market at this point where it was 840, for example, then you would have made the profit of, you know, 11.24%. And if you entered here where it was 915, you haven't made much profit. You've made a profit of the difference between a straight line that cuts across here and a straight line that cuts across that peak there, which is meaning that you would have made, you know, your most profit from the time you entered on Tuesday, the 2nd of April, when this share was 970. And yeah, so you can even go to 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. They'll show you. I mean, if the share's been around for a long time, you'll probably get the stats of even up to 10 years and more. Then you can go to summary. On the summary, you'll get, okay, maybe before we go to the summary, let's go a little bit to the bottom. Some of the information we see on the summary, we also see here at the bottom. So right, let's have a look. Actually, maybe let's not even go to the summary. Let's just look here. We want to see, so we see the market capitalization is 3.37 billion. Unissued shares are 641.72 million units. And then the last reported earnings per share was for that much. And yeah, so I'm not gonna go into detail with these things. As I guess we share information, you guys, you know, are gonna pick up what all of these acronyms and things mean, you know, like earnings yield, dividends per share. So the last dividend per share was that you know, 42 cents. So then your dividend yield is over here. It says the dividend yield is 8.94. So that means the dividend yield is like almost 9%. So this is a good one for me that I would basically pick, you know, to invest in, because I know that if I hold long, I stand to gain, you know, a gross yield of 9%. And if I sell, you know, I stand to be able to make some gains depending on when I entered the market, you know, according to this little graph over here. So that's kind of like some of the things that I look at. They're like other stuff that you look at, you know. You will look at the integrity of the company. I just used Netbank because I mean, you already, as a South African, you're familiar with Netbank. You know, you're probably even a client there. You know, you save your money there, so you more or less are aware of how they perform, whether they're a stable, you know, organization, or you know they're unsteady. But you know, you can go to the Netbank website. You can look at what their mission and vision is, what their strategy is, you know, how they're growing the bank, what are their different products that they're selling, you know, to in order to help yourself not to feel how do I say, panicked about it, or you know, to manage the risk that you feel investing in this particular share will attract. So yeah, then I guess you would look at the prices, and you'd say, okay, so if it's 9.33 Rand, for example, let's say all right, so the best offer is 9.35. Let's say if you were to buy it now, the market is going to be closing at 5:30. So if you were to buy it now, and maybe you were to give this offer of 9.35 Rand, and you wanted, maybe let's say, to buy about 500 of those shares, you would need something like okay, so 500 shares times where is that, 9.35. That means the least you need is 4,675. And then you're going to look at, if you're going to use, for example, easy equities, then you'd say divided by 100. It'll tell you how many hundreds are in that amount, and then you times that by basically 32, and that means that placing this trade of 4,675 is going to cost you a brokerage of 14.96 Rand. So now if you go and say plus, and flip, okay, plus 46.75, and so you need about 4,721.75. There are, like, you know, other charges that some shares attract. I'm not really sure what the percentages are there, so I would say maybe more or less, you know, if you want to secure like your 500 units, maybe bring it up to, let's say, like 4,740 or 4,750, and then you will at least clock that 500. But you are able, you know, to mimic this purchase transaction on your profile. There's, like, you know, Easy Equities has a demo account. You can go and mimic your transaction there on the demo account and see how much it costs you at that price, and then go and do it on your actual account when you're happy with what it is. I mean, even let's say you've got 100 Rand. If you have 100 Rand and you want to buy this share, for example, so meaning that it's gonna cost you like 32 cents plus whatever other, maybe let's say make it 100 Rand and 50 cents, right? So out of 100 Rand you will get you'd get about 10 of these shares, you know. And Easy Equities is nice because it gives you even part of a share, so it's not gonna say only the wholes. It'll also count, you know, the partial shares that you buy. So you could be able to get those 10.69 shares, for example, that you buy. And if we then go to the summary will basically give us like also it will give us more visuals, so we'll get that you know, that visual or that graph of the movement of the share price over a period of a year, and it'll show you there, as we've already determined, that it is up 11% from what it was a year ago, basically, I guess, to the day. And then at the bottom here, I'm not sure if you can see that guy who looks like he's at a podium, and there's like a red balloonish thing next to him. So basically this is just a visual of the calendar. So it shows here that previously there was an interim dividend of 41 cents that was declared on the 7th of August 2018 and paid on the 27th of the same month, 2018. And then there was a final dividend of 42 cents that was declared on the 5th of March 2019. And then when you move further, then you'll see what they are expecting. So it says next expected interim dividend. So it's basing this next expected one on the historical one that was declared on basically the 7th of August. So as you can see there, even the dates will more or less be the same. So this kind of like gives you an idea that, this is what you can expect and when you can expect it, so that you can even plan when to enter the market, to be in line, to get in on that dividend that's expected. Because this one has already passed even its payment date, because the payment date was the 25th of March. So, and some of this information that we see on the summary here, we also saw when we were looking at the quote tab. And basically this is your market close information, some PE. Okay, there's no PE ratio calculated here or earnings per share. And there's the dividend yield there of 8.9%. And basically the days range. So this is basically to show that the range between what was offered versus what was bid. And the best bid there for the day was that one for basically 9.33 for that volume. And the best offer, as you can see, because it's a little bit later now, that the best offer was for 9.55 and for 5,000. So there has since been other offers that came in after that the break that I took. So basically this is what this website will tell you. Also at the end here, you can sort of see some other information where it says institutional support for this share. So December 2018 quarter, it had it was in the green, so that means it gained, I guess, 59.94%. and in September of that quarter it lost 40%. So I'm not really sure what informs this part here, so I won't really talk so much on it. And then here you've got latest results for the share. It will tell you 12 months ended there, published then. So it gives you total income for 2018, that's what it was. For 2017, that's what it is. And there's a change, so the percentage change is 2.9% of the total income. And the attributable income is basically that, meaning there was a total change. So there was a decrease in attributable income. There's been an increase in market capital, and there was a decrease in the earnings per share and the headline earnings per share, as well as the dividends per share. So basically in 2018 in December they declared a dividend that was less than what was declared in 2017 December. So, and then you've just got a summary here of what the business, so this shares business is about. So, And from there, any shares that you go and visit basically get listed here. As you can see there, this Nedbank preference share is showing there that, you know, we've looked at it. So it basically, it becomes sort of like your temporary watch list, because this is your recently viewed equities. So it'll keep changing every time. It only limits it, I think, to about 10 or 8 or something. And every time you look at a new share, it'll probably replace one of these ones based on the oldest one looked at to the most recent one looked at. So that's the information that I get on this website when I'm looking at shares. And basically I picked this share up because I went, remember, to the shares. I looked at the sectors and I looked at the preference share sector, and then I looked at the different listed preference shares there, and I picked this up so that we can have a look at it. And also here, if maybe I can show you, there's the stock exchange news service. It shows that on the 3rd of March, the audited results were basically published, and there it shows there was some change to the board of directors on the 1st. This was announced, and so on and so forth. So different, you know, I mean, activities that happen with regards to a listed share will be, you know, I mean, announced on this stock exchange news service. Okay, so I think maybe let's go to, okay, let's maybe now go and have a look at the funds. So on the funds part of it, that's where you will see a list of exchange traded funds and exchange traded notes. And the difference with this particular one is that, as opposed to the shares where you saw like the year, so the years, that the end of year month for a company, its market capital, when the estimated due date for the results were, and what those results were that were expected. So that was the information you saw on the shares tab. But on the funds tab, what you see is, you'll see the name of the fund, you'll see its code, you'll see what type it is, whether it's an ETF or an ETN, and you'll see the latest price for that and what the day's move is in percentages. And then basically this is like a dividend yield that has been calculated, you know, so it's a historical dividend yield. So it's sort of information that you can use to basically narrow down you know, your selection of where you want to invest. So for example, if we look at, okay, let's go down a bit and see more of them. There's quite a number of them, as you can see, the more I scroll. So okay, the last one there is that UBS portfolio notes. So I mean, it's a situation where, let's say, I mean, this one, the Stanlib Global REIT is estimated here to have a dividend yield of 3.6%, and the price for it is 19 Rand 38, for example. And then you've got the Standard Bank wheat. Okay, that one is an exchange traded note. So exchange traded notes, they basically don't distribute dividends or whatever. What you get is just the I guess it's like a speculative buy. You know, you get gains from the movement of the price of that exchange traded note. I'm not too clued up with exchange traded notes, and I buy a little bit of them just to try and understand and track how they work. So far I haven't gotten to a comfortable point with my knowledge or understanding of them. So let me just not waste your time with that. So for example, let's look at this one that says Cetrix quality. So as you can see, the Cetrix quality just gives you the price. It doesn't give you the yield, but it's possible for you to go and calculate the historical yield for yourself. For example, you can do this by visiting another website called ETFs SA. So let's maybe quickly go there and have a look. So we go ETFSA. So because I visit these websites a lot, as you can see, as soon as I type the first letter, it's already picked up. It did the same with shared data. And then you go to exchange traded funds. That's that icon there that's red. You open it, and on there there's like 3 different links that they provide. The total expense ratios, if that's what you want to look at, the brief descriptions of the different ones. I usually go and look at the daily market information and prices, and this is basically where I'll go in, and then I will have a look, and I will look now on the drop down there at the top. I can go look for the specific one that I had spotted there that I said, okay, I want to look at. It was called Cetrix quality. So I can see a Cetrix 40 here. Okay, so let's scroll down, maybe the rest. So there's Cetrix quality, then I select it, and immediately the information that's shown here changes. As you can see, it shows there that, okay, it lost 8 cents to its price. Its 52-week high was like 9.63, and its 52-week low is 7.90, and this is like a visual representation of the price movement. And here it shows you the dividend yield is like 2.35%, and the last dividend that was paid on this ETF was 6 cents. So this means 6 cents because this is quoted in cents. So there's then the date of last dividend, which says that this one was declared on the 9th of the current month, which is April. So it's possible that it's already paid, because these ones usually they don't they don't take long to get paid, because they paid quarterly. So I think the people who manage them already know that, okay, every end of the quarter we're gonna declare it on this day, and by this day we'll have paid it. So for example, if they declare it end of or beginning of the next quarter, in the same month they will have paid it. So I think this one is already paid. But in any case, if you bought it now, you'd still be in line to get the next distribution, which is gonna be after June. So it's January, February, March, quarter 1, April, May, June, quarter 2. So then you'll get quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4, and all the other quarters going forward, so long as you hold the ETF and you don't sell it. So there you go. You've got calculated, dividend yield. But if, let's say, maybe they hadn't calculated it for you, you could always go to this other part of the website. So I'll go back to the home page of that website where I was, and I'll try to find the Cetrix quality. Okay, so there it is there, and I'll have a look, and there where it says this last view is for the profile. Well, I just know because, yeah, I've looked at them for so much. So then if you open this profile, you'll see information like, okay, when it was formed. So when this exchange traded fund, began its life. So this one began its life on the 26th of September 2017, and it has declared these dividends historically. January of 2018, it was 6 rand 57 cents. April of 2018, it was 9 rand, 9 cents. Oh my gosh. So January of 2018, it was 6 cents, and April it was 9 cents, and so on and so forth. June. So you can take basically the dividends that span a year, sum them up, and divide them by the price. Let's say maybe you have a look at what the price would have been if you had entered in time to get the 9th January 2018 distribution. So maybe let's say you would have bought it in December sometime, or very early in January, for example. Then you would have been in line to buy this. So then you would have to just go and check the share. So let's see here if we can be able to see. I'm not sure. 2018 is, it's a year ago. Okay, but it might be further. So let's take 3 years. So you could try to determine here what the price more or less was in January 2018. So this is the line that goes with 2018. So it was more or less there around just below 10 rand. And then you can say, okay, the sum of these historical dividends here divided by that price that you have determined there, and you'll get your dividend yield. Also here you can find information that is released on the stock exchange news service. So we've got here a distribution announcement that was made by Ashburton to basically distribute to their shareholders of these two exchange traded funds, the Ashburton Mid Cap and the Ashburton Top 40. So let's open the Mid Cap and just look at what the information says to us. So it says that okay, the aggregate distribution is like 7 cents, and okay, this is the breakdown to show you, because with these exchange traded funds, they can have underlying units that are local or foreign shares. So basically then they will break it down for you to say this much of the gross dividend is your local income, this is your foreign income. For example, this local REIT one, so real estate income, this one is basically not gonna attract any dividend withholding tax, but the other ones are going to attract dividend withholding tax. So you will get fully allocated the local REIT portion, but you will get the other portion less the dividend withholding. Oh, okay, so here it says subject to withholding. So meaning, oh, okay, so this REIT is subject to withholding tax, but the interest and the other income isn't. All right. Okay, that's interesting. because I know REIT shares not to attract any dividend withholding tax, but maybe within this space they do. But in any case, so that's the information. And when you scroll down a little bit, you should be able to see the dates. So then it tells you that the last day that you can buy these these ETFs is the 29th of April. So that's a date that's still coming. So you can still buy. And the record date is the 3rd of May. So as long as you hold your ETF beyond the 3rd of May, you will get this distribution. But if you sell it before the 3rd of May or on the 3rd of May, you will not get this distribution. And the distribution will be paid on the 6th of May.